Alright, so welcome back to the great RPG discussion now. So I'm assuming at this point you have no experience with games like Might and Magic, Dungeons and Dragons, and I'm trying to think if there's been any other one. Oh, Ultima. Ultima was another one.
Not as far as like video game.
Video game for right. Because Dungeons and Dragons is obviously a paper RPG.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the video game version of Dungeons and Dragons, there's been quite a few. Let's see. This is actually a better discussion that was done on Clan of the Grey Wolf. Like, they actually have a really good video that they try and settle what a JRPG is as an alternative to a Western RPG. And
we do not want to be here right now. We're going to stay at the inn again.
Okay.
It's Salamander's Day. We are not tackling the fire god beasts on the fire day.
Good point.
Here.
But to try and sum up as best as I can, one of the things, the fact that in JRPGs you go into a random encounter system that's completely separate from the system around you. Whereas most Western RPGs will have you encounter the enemies in real time when they're in the area.
Okay.
Yeah. And then in a storytelling way, the way that a JRPG works is you are playing a role, but that role isn't something for you to decide. It's a role that the game developers have made to cater to the story at hand.
Okay.
So generally that's what is the biggest differences between a JRPG and a Western RPG.
Right.
So when it comes to stuff like Dungeons and Dragons and Ultima, you're not playing a person with a name, you're not playing Link of Hyrule, you're not playing Sir Gawain or whatever. You're playing your own self.
Right.
But you're playing yourself in this world.
Right.
That you decide on the decisions that are going to be made throughout it.
Okay.
So, and then in addition to that, the way that they kind of develop differently is also based on the gameplay that our cultures just kind of got used to, so because that first person aspect before Wolfenstein and Doom really made it work as a real-time thing. The dungeon crawlers made it work as kind of a system, but it was still kind of almost a turn-based mechanic. Okay, you move one space forward. Okay, they move one space forward. The monsters move one space forward too. You turn. That's one move as well, and that means that the monster gets a turn as well, kind of a thing. As far as I remember, I never really played a lot. I played Heroes of Might and Magic for the PC, but I don't for a very long time. And that's one of the things that developed the first-person shooters in general, and why they became so popular today is because they started out with trying to get you involved in this area by giving you that first-person perspective so you could see everything.
Right.
Yeah. So with JRPGs, obviously, you have a large open area. Essentially, you have a map, and you just kind of go around the area and you fight monsters that you encounter along the way. And some games like Ultima did that as well. But with the random encounter system going into a completely Sorry, I decided for
It's okay. That's okay because I do not remember where the fire enemy is. The god beast in here.
Was that it?
No, that's just a nice area effect.
Okay. Interesting.
Oh yeah, that reminds me. I say even though your thing's already charged, be very, very careful with your tech because those ninjas will fuck us over. I know for sure they do have a counter.
Okay, I'm just gonna kill the duck in the meantime.
Yep.
Slash, slash, slash. So yeah, I still assume that you've never encountered that kind of RPG.
I mean, I wouldn't say never. I'm just like not thinking of any offhand. At least not any classic ones.
Yeah.
I mean, I've played Fallout a little bit, but not that much. And obviously, once we get into era, there's more. There's more Western game studios.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't like. Yeah, I don't really have a whole lot of experience with them overall. Because, like, my brother's interest was mostly JRPGs.
Mm-hmm.
So, since he was the one picking out games that we had, that's mostly what I had to play with.
Yeah. Yeah, I can understand that.
Oh, are we about to go in a circle? I think we're about to go in a circle.
Probably.
Yep.
That's a circle.
Yep. Heal up a bit.
So have you ever taken an interest in those mechanics, though?
Somewhat, like, depending on the game, I like a sense of customization.
Mm-hmm.
Like, honestly, if they were better implemented, I really liked, going off of the two offhand that I can think of, I liked Final Fantasy X's Sphere Grid, and I liked 12's License Board, but, they were both two very different extremes.
Mm-hmm.
The Sphere Grid was way too linear, but the License Board was way too open. So, like, if there's something right in between those, that would be great. Fallout with its special system,
mm-hmm.
I thought was always really cool. The issue is that it tends to be balanced very poorly. Like, they tried to make up for that with perks, but there's so many perks in any given Fallout game that it's very easy to, like, basically waste a level up point.
Mm-hmm. Well, okay, so Fallout, as far as, like, what a Western RPG is, falls in that same line of gameplay as, wow, that did...
Zombie. Jambi?
It's just a ring of fire?
You'll see.
Okay.
Also, oops, since I got turned around in here, we skipped over the save point somewhere.
Yeah, that's scary.
And I think we'll be fine.
Probably. I mean, we've been fine thus far. Oh, it's a ring of fire with a head.
With a bird head.
Yeah.
With horns. Oh, shit.
Yeah, I didn't mean to do it there, but I needed to.
Yeah.
Oh, good. It didn't affect me.
Sure.
Yeah. So, like I was saying, Western RPGs,
What the hell?
yeah, you,
Oh, it's still a pressure point.
So your experience with Fallout is similar gameplay to that of, Diablo and, what's the other thing? Diablo and Ultima, where you have a character kind of on an overworld map kind of thing, and then you just take down enemies that appear in that area. But you also have like a really strong sense of world just based on the people you encounter. Hey,
Yeah. Yeah, something like that.
yeah. So so you do have that is kind of like one of the popular ones out there as far as like an RPG's mechanic system. But looking back on it now, how do you feel about that system in comparison to JRPGs?
I really don't know. Like, I have a certain nostalgia for, like, the style of JRPGs, but considering that there haven't been a lot coming out lately, that I've really been like, oh, I want to make sure I pick that up. You know, it's just kind of hard to say for sure if I'm still a fan of it in general. Yeah. And what? Sorry, I'm trying to focus on the boss, but
no, that's alright.
Oh, hey, he actually appeared front facing. What was I saying? I think for me, because when I'm playing a game, I'm looking for what I look for in any media, and that's like a story and characters that really, really grip me. And obviously, you know, I'm not going to play a game if it's not fun.
Definitely.
But depending on the game, if I stop having fun, I might be willing to stick it out for the sake of the story.
Okay.
Like let's see, what's a good example of that for me? Like
that was Dot Hack for me. Because, like, even though the game stopped being fun on the second game, I still really enjoyed the storyline. I thought it was kind of an interesting concept.
I can't think of any offhand that are like that for me. But I know there's some. I just God damn it! I accidentally clicked that twice.
Kingdom Hearts Dream Drop Distance.
I didn't play Dream Drop Distance yet.
325 over.
I did not play 328 either. And Birth by Sleep was hella fun, so.
Yeah, definitely wasn't gonna say Birth by Sleep.
He's trying to heal himself.
I don't think you played Chain of Memories or any of the Chain of Memories ones.
I did actually. And that was one where the gameplay, not exactly the gameplay itself, but the difficulty spike got to me. Like, I always got stuck at the, I think it's the 4th Riku fight. Like, he's confronting you about forgetting that Carey gave you the Wayfinder charm. And I remember that because I sat through that cutscene so many goddamn times. And eventually it was like, even though I really, really, really want to know the rest of the story, I can't take this gameplay anymore. I have no way to get past this. I don't know what I'm doing wrong, why I can't beat him. Yeah.
Okay.
I think for sticking out the story despite gameplay, probably the first Breath of Fire game. That one was just very. I don't know if it was just like the time when I was playing it, that like I couldn't understand some of the mechanics or some of what the game was trying to tell me to do. Because the translation for that is meh. At least as far as I remember, anyways. So I remember I wanted to stick with the story, even though after a certain point I was not having fun at all.
Yeah.
Let's see. Come on, gotta be almost. There we go. That is dead. So yeah, there's that one. I don't know. I think that might be a good reason why I enjoy JRPGs more, because especially with older games, you might not be able to customize your characters, but because they didn't have to program so much for the sake of the characters, like they know exactly where the game's going to have you go. Oh, you can't increase your spirit? Oh, there you go. Yeah, because they don't have to program in, like, a bunch of different reactions based on who your character is, or how you've been building them. That's so much more room that they can use for making dungeons or giving lines to NPCs and fleshing out the game, which makes the story better and makes it so that even if it's not a fun game, it might be. Okay. I might want to stick with it.
Okay, I can see that.
Yeah. So I think that might be part of why I tend towards JRPGs. Too.
Yeah, just from a storytelling aspect. Yeah, I can totally understand that, and I can totally get behind that. Because that was an argument that was made a couple of times about the silent protagonist type of character.
Excuse me.
You know, that a lot of people kind of prefer, a lot of people just plain prefer the story to be told to them, rather than you to be kind of like this general, like, hero of legend kind of thing that was destined to come by and save all of the land or something.
Yeah. Let's see, who do we have left? We have wind, light, and water left, right? Yeah. I say let's go. Ooh. Yeah, let's go for wind. Wind's really cool.
Okay.
Wind's a really, really good battle.
Okay. I can dig it.
Wait, which? I'm trying to remember. Okay, that's light.
Yeah.
Wind's here? Yeah.
I think for me, when it comes to RPGs, I really do prefer something a little bit more like this.
I'm not sure where exactly we have to go. I don't think this is quite right, actually.
Okay. I think I prefer something more like this, but I definitely don't mind what was done. I also like the idea of just having something more interactive, you know, than just menu-based combat. You know? It does kind of bother me, like...
Do we have to go back to the Quarter of Wind?
I have no idea.
I think we do. Sorry, I'm just trying to remember.
Yeah, that's cool. I mean... yeah, well, in general, we've gone on long enough. Do you want to just kind of check between episodes to figure out where we need to be?
Yeah, that's probably a good idea.
Alright, guys. We'll kill these harpies and we'll see you on the next episode.
Yep.
Later.
Bye-bye.